What's up? What's up? Welcome back to Jack of All Trades, a weekly podcast for you to digest where there will always be a special guest. I'm not going to hold you on this Love After Lockup review, so let's go ahead and get right into it.
Yo, yo, hey girl, hey.
Hey girl, what's going on?
Ooh, child.
Woo
A whole bunch of ghetto ass foolishness. Yeah, I
Yes.
said it.
Yes. The event that we have all been waiting for. It finally went
They could
down.
have kept it.
The
Girl,
Cleveland
not impressed.
Confrontation.
Not impressed.
The Cleveland Confrontation. Yeah, it happened. So we know that's why we're here. We know that's why, some of you all might be here. But we're going to go ahead and do what we've been doing and recap the other couples first. So Life After Lockup, Season 4, Episode 43, Family Ties.
Hmm. You know, let's just get to it.
Right? Because, I started to say, aside from Monique and Derek, I don't know. But then I started to remember. So there was quite a bit that happened with some couples. And then there were a few duds as usual. So if we want to start with one of the duds.
Cause you know what? Everybody wasn't on this episode. Like we didn't see thank goodness. We didn't see Blaine and what's this girl name?
Lindsay.
Lancey. We didn't see them. We didn't see Cameron and Eris.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't see some people. We can start with Sarah and Sean. They didn't really have a lot going on.
Yes. So let's see.
I have blah 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 written by them.
Right. I certainly don't have a lot of notes here. So we'll do what we can to recall what they had going on. First, they start off the next morning after, their little quarrel, if you will, they had about him playing the video games and her wanting him to be more present. So she comes down and he's holding the baby and he says that, he hears her. He's going to help out more, all that kind of stuff. He doesn't want her to leave, though. That seems to be the bottom line. He says it to her. He says it in his confessionals. I feel like this is Sean's thing. Like, as soon as a woman has to do the most with him, then he finally says, you know what? I'm really going to try harder for her. It's just like, it's old.
Oh, it's so stupid. Like it's the same shit that Kelly told her. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, here we go.
Yes.
But I think too, I really think she's not really I think she's waiting for Sean to mess up.
Oh, yeah. Agreed.
Because she really wants, like she kept saying, first of all, shout out my homie CJ. Okay.
Shout out
So,
CJ.
girl, CJ, I stopped by his house yesterday. My homeboy, been my homeboy for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he's always seeing me post about this podcast. So he's like, yeah, I want to check out that show, Love After Lockup. I said, what? Nigga, say less. He talking about, I don't get with TV. I said, me neither. Turn YouTube on.
Right.
Girl, so I was like pausing every couple to like give him the backstory. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'll sum it all up to where we are today. I'm like, boom, nigga, I just gave you 3 years worth of shit in like 20 seconds. And I had to explain to him, like, we're bonding. Like, we are like bonded for life at this point because you watched this show with me, okay? So yeah. But yeah, I had to tell him like Sean is who Sean is. Like he's gonna do him. It just is what it is. So Sarah, what are you about? And like I said, she just used it because she's saying it with her ex, like, oh, we never really had any closure. Boom. Classic
Right.
sign that you really trying to double back and spin a block.
Right. Yeah, you could tell from the time that she said that she had been talking to her ex and that she was looking to reconnect with him, even saying that jail is the only reason they're not together. Like sometimes it doesn't matter what broke a relationship up. That relationship was not meant to be for that reason. So If you're
Yeah,
not
because y'all was on drugs and going to jail.
right.
That's like enough reason to not, y'all need to stay the fuck away from each other. But I just feel like sometimes those toxic relationships just be calling people and they be like, well, let me just see.
Yes. Yes.
Myself included.
Right. I feel like no one, well, right. Me neither. I'm not exempt. You can include me in the number of folks that will look around that corner just to see what still might be going on. So it's not that we blame your human nature, Sarah, but again, like I said last week, the way that you treat other people, the attitude that you give off, the impatience even that you start to have, because you could tell she's not having it with Sean and she is at her wit's end. But a lot of it has to do with the fact that she wants to see what's going on around that corner with Anthony.
Well, but let's be clear. And I don't stand for Sarah like that to be taken up for her or giving her anything. However, though, she wants attention from her husband. She's just,
True.
We talked about this before. She's just had a baby. Her body, she's not feeling herself. Her body just went through the most. Let's be clear. Okay. You grew a human and then pushed it out of your hole. Like, girl.
Yeah.
So, and she's asking for, it's like she's crying out for attention. She wants attention from her husband. They're not even having sex. She has been rejected by him. I mean, I'm not saying it's right, but she's going to go seek that attention elsewhere, whether it's with her baby daddy or not. Let's be clear.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is just like a nice, easy way for her to do it, where there's probably a certain level of guilt that she's not going to feel, because at the end of the day, as Anthony...
I asked you.
Well, first of all, Sean, she asked, but even if things were all going well, once Anthony gets himself together, she's still going to have to communicate with Anthony, especially if she wants Abby to know him. So I think that also in her mind, it justifies it a little bit. Like, well, she can always find a way to soften the blow. Like, no, I had to talk to Anthony. That's Abby's father, So anywho, we see that Sarah... They fast forward a few months, right? Because everybody was up in arms about the baby growing some hair and Sarah's hair color changing. Because I guess a couple of months have now gone by. And Sarah is seriously considering getting some boobs. She's going to get some implants. She says she's never felt like she had that cleavage that she liked. And having the babies have just changed everything that she had going on. The little boobs she got when she was pregnant, they're gone again. So Sean is supportive of this and goes to the doctor with her. And while they're there, they're having a consultation. She's trying out the different sizes. Looks like she's landing on around a D cup. And then her phone starts blowing up. And we see that it's Anthony. And he's blowing her up because he has now gotten so used to being able to communicate with Sarah during the day while Sean is at work. And this just happens to be like an anomaly. He took off for work or he's not working to go to this appointment with her. So Sarah decides that she's going to excuse herself to the bathroom and go ahead and talk to him and get it over with. And he's basically saying, he wants to see Abby. And so now she has to, start basically getting everything to a place where she's prepared for that. Like she's making sure that, he's ready for it. And she knows that she needs to talk to her mom about it as well, because at the end of the day, like we said, neither one of y'all was really raising Abby because y'all were both in jail. So, she wants her mom to know about this as well.
Which, I mean, she's not wrong. She should have an opinion. Like,
for sure. And
her opinion is valid. Yeah. And if something happens right now, like Sarah and Sean could break up right now, her mother would have to, or somebody go back to jail, anything. And her mom would have to pick up the pieces and stuff. She's the babysitter. So I like that she did tell her mom, rather.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised if she's taking care of Abby right now, because we're not seeing her around the house that Sean and Sarah are in. So, yeah.
That's true.
She should definitely be involved. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have any notes from that conversation, but I do know that Her mom just again wants to make sure that everything is okay, like, because she has been holding it down and she's not gonna be for the foolishness with them, which totally makes sense and is to be expected. And she also is supportive of Sarah getting her boobs and can't understand if Sean has an issue with it or, you know, has any sort of hesitation about it, because I just remember her saying she's getting some hooters, man.
Girl, pissing me off. Look, some hooters. And Sean being all jealous and carrying on about this, you know, oh, there are going to be guys looking at her like, what? I mean, let's be clear. A woman doesn't need big boobs, so I gotta look at her. Like, these motherfuckers going, okay? You could look like the bottom of this shoe I got on. They going, period. So,
yeah.
Sean, get your shit together. Because ain't nobody looking at your tail with all these kids. Good night.
Well, and it's like, you want to be jealous about that, but again, she's been telling you for months that if you gave me some attention, maybe I wouldn't feel like I need to start changing myself. But not to say that's the only reason that she made that decision, you know, but again, maybe it's something you would be just more aware of, you would have a better understanding of if you were really giving her the attention and the intimacy that she's been looking for from you for months now. Okay, your baby has grown some hair and she still somehow ain't getting what she need from you. Let's see.
Girl, I'm sick of them.
Right. Who's next? The crossing guards, Justine and Michael.
Girl, you know what? You finna have me. Where's my lighter? It's early. I usually wait for Monique and Derek. Butter up. Let's get through them. Cause she says, I think, okay. Yeah, let's get to it. Because I think at this point, both of them are living in a fantasy land.
Oh, for sure.
Justine is usually the bird. But Michael,
he's chirping too.
You being an inmate and you're inmating real a lot now. But go ahead, proceed. Give us the background so I can start yelling.
Yes. So Justine and Michael go to see a doula. And Michael doesn't feel like Justine needs a doula. He feels like a lot.
He don't know what it is.
Right. He's not clear. He doesn't understand what it is. He doesn't understand the disparities for women of color in this country and their treatment when they are having babies, of course, right? But he's supportive enough, you know, to go to an appointment with her. And besides, where else is he going to go? You know, the studio. So.
Right. With that one big hit.
Right. It only takes one. So they get to this appointment and they're on the way. They're talking about how, you know, they also need to really start to get serious about their next move and where they want to be. So there's lots of things at stake, basically, is what they're trying to set up. So they get into this little office and Michael starts to give her a foot massage while they wait on the doula to come in. And did you check out the surroundings in this space? Like, it almost looked like one of those, you know, 3-room homes that gets converted into a doctor's office. But then it was like...
No, I did not pick that up for it.
Yeah.
I didn't pick that up for it.
And then there was...
I just didn't like him rubbing her feet in the doctor's office. Like, her boot off. And then he, like, put her shoe back on like a little kid.
Yeah.
You know, like he... hit the bottom, like, girl, pissing me off. She is 2 hours pregnant, okay?
But there was like a food pantry behind them. There were like 2 refrigerator units, you know, with some food in it. And just like, where are you? But anyway, so the doula comes in. She explains her services. And somehow, to keep it relevant to the show, Michael asks if she is willing or able to travel, because they plan on moving and being somewhere south or Midwest. And then Justine is immediately triggered, I guess, by that, because it leads to them having an argument about where they're planning to move, what that looks like, you know, and the details of that right in front of the doula. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
like,
Oh, baby, that's because it's like the timing of it. Like Michael started talking about his dreams and aspirations, and then he kind of sprung it on her in front of the doula too, like
mm-hmm.
about tech. He said down south and then Midwest. She like, nigga, wait, which one? And it's like now the doula sitting there like
Yeah.
looking crazy. And I would have put their ass up out my office, like, okay, well, y'all could talk about that later. This is my time. I have another client after y'all. Like,
Right.
it's
Right.
just inappropriate. Like,
Yes.
even with Sarah and Sean, girl, your phone is blowing up. Yeah, you talking about, oh, I gotta use the bathroom.
Right.
This not the time for y'all foolishness, you know, at
Right.
these doctor's appointments. I would have
Yes.
put both couples out of my, well, not Sean and them. Anthony, I'm kind of doubling back. I knew this often, y'all. Keep up. But Anthony blowing up Sarah's phone was just inappropriate because she married.
Right.
Let's be clear.
Bottom
You're not
line.
going to do that in that fucking jail. And you know I'm married. Bring it back to Justine and Michael. Y'all got some shit to talk about because, I mean, but I do agree with her. Like, you just think me and my kid's supposed to trot around the country behind you?
You know what? Yes, her sentiment and her point of view, it wasn't bad, but it was just like, why would you even entertain carrying on in front of the doula? And I understand it's probably for the cameras, but that was just like, I hate those types of scenes. You know what I
Yeah,
flashed back to was Michael and Sarah, but at least they were at like a couples counseling, you know, so
absolutely.
it's
It
like,
was the
hey,
setting for it.
yes, it was the setting, absolutely. So, but this particular appointment with the doula, it's just like, how do we get so far away from the purpose of getting, you know, an understanding of the function and
Eating placenta.
girl, it was just all over the place. And again, very much for the cameras. And I'm just really like, I'm wearing thin with them very quickly.
Very much so. But Justine, that's what comes with you quit your job
Yeah.
like he asked you to. So yeah, y'all might as well get suited and booted to trot around the country with him because that's what comes with that. You don't have a leg to stand on.
Right.
Other than oh, we need to be included. But he kind of lets you know like he's running things, you know, he's paying the bills, he's being a provider. Like
Mm-hmm. Yep.
your son does not even like him. Let's be
Girl,
clear.
right. So let's take it back to the house because they leave that and go back home and they greet the children. Kylie's reading. And then Michael goes in to hug Santana and he kicks him. And I don't mean to laugh, like that's just like I guess an unbelievable kind of laugh response. Like, did I really just see that? And Justine is just like, oh, well, why would you do that? And, you know, think about how ridiculous you look. And he says, you know, why am I always the one that gets in trouble and I'm sleep deprived? And then she decides that this is the time to let us know that she found out that he's on the spectrum. Now, okay, talk me off the ledge because I hate to sound like an asshole because it's not that I don't believe it, but I think more so this is my thing. It's not that I don't believe it at all. That's not my issue. My issue is that I have a really hard time believing that Justine has done anything about it since she's been focused on Michael in this show and filming and quitting her job and getting pregnant. Like, have you really done anything about it so that Michael, you know, and us viewing don't see what we see, you know? I don't know. I have a hard time believing that it's just him being on the spectrum. And I think it more so has to do with him dealing with all of this change and all
I
of it
agree.
happening on camera.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And
Yeah.
he doesn't, like, even while they're talking about where they're moving to, like, he's hiding his face under a pillow, like, not interested. It just really showing that he's very much so not interested. So it's like, I feel sorry for the young lad because it's a lot. It's a lot for him. And like you said, on camera, it's just I don't know, Justine, tighten up.
Yeah.
And did you tell Michael that he's on the spectrum? Like, I love Michael's patience with her and her children, but does Michael know that he's on the spectrum to kind of, because he's talking about if my kids disrespect me, they're going to feel my wrath. Like, did you tell him that your
Right.
child, girl, I don't know.
I don't like how she gaslights him almost. You know, she's like telling Santana that he should be happy that Michael wants to hug him. But again, even if that's an emotion that you want him to have, again, if he's on the spectrum, where's the time that you're spending with him to not only correct bad behavior, right? Because let's be clear, like bad behavior is bad behavior. Kicking people is not supposed to be okay, regardless. But also helping to reinforce like emotions that he should lean into and that he should feel like are okay and safe. It just feels like it's so much going on that, again, you throwing that out there, again, not as an excuse, but just as something we should know. I questioned it because I wanted to be like, okay, and what are you actually doing about it? Because I'm not sure that's happening. But okay, like we said, they talked to the kids about how they plan on moving somewhere else to restart their lives, and the intent, it seems, is to wait until like this school year finishes, because of course Kylie wants to know, like, I'm about to go to school, girl, like what are y'all talking about? But they say they're looking at Florida, Texas, Georgia, and Nevada. Which one would you pick out of those four?
Florida.
Yeah.
But with kids, that's single, no kids me.
Yeah.
Me with, and I wonder is this move with Justine's kids, or Michael, are your kids coming too? Because you want all of this house and all of this land. Is it for your kids as well?
Yeah, that was definitely one of the next notes that I have, because they're leaning towards Nevada, which I think would be cool, especially like you said with kids. Just knowing how the other states are. But what about Michael's kids? You know, I think that's where this story starts to also, it wears a little thin, you know, with me, because there's so much that I have a hard time believing. Like, are you really having this conversation with Justine and her children as if you don't have, what, 4 more of your own?
Exactly.
That you can't see? Like, why are you going anywhere that is any farther away from them than you already are right now?
Exactly.
So I don't know. We didn't get a ton of details around the, you know, who's going and what this living arrangement really entails. But another thing that they seem to plan on doing, and it just looks questionable. And when you think about it, they talked a lot about plans, but really we haven't seen much of anything happen with them other than get pregnant.
That's it. And they're his plans. Like, oh, she wants like plans with these kids, but it's like, girl,
right? I mean, we have not seen anything, but yeah, they kind of wrap up with him saying, you know, he doesn't like the way he sees Santana talk to her. She says that the environments that he's used to don't really include someone being respectful of her when they're talking to her. And I felt like, sounds like, again, a weak sauce excuse. Like, you can still tell your children what's okay and not okay in how they talk to you, even if they hear somebody else talking crazy to you. Like, you can still draw whatever boundaries you need to do. You can still discipline your children however you need to, because those people are no longer in your home.
And my thing, right? Like, we not about to do this. Now that you have told him about his past, about your past, now we gonna blame that for everything that happens. We not doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was it with them. I don't know. It just, again, seems to be
boring.
Yeah, like
dumb.
I think we
Getting
were
on my nerves.
Yeah, we were interested to see Michael get out. He was looking kind of good at first, and now it's just like, okay, like what more are we actually getting from y'all? I would have preferred to see him in the studio more at this point if he was, you know, spitting hot fire. But as soon as she quit that job and told us she was pregnant, I feel like it kind of all went out the window for me. I'm like, oh, y'all are dumb. So
yeah,
sorry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. What's next? Puppy and Amber. Amber and Puppy.
Girl,
Mm.
how about I don't have a note the first on their ass? That's how Puppy has been unhappy with Eric and crying for two seasons now.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm feeling for Pup, but
I do feel for her this time. I do.
yeah.
But Puppy, are you gonna leave? Like I'm tired of this crying, sad
Mm-hmm.
story of yours. Like okay, first you got out, you were drinking all on the job, you're not being productive. Then you
Mm-hmm.
get with this dude. Now you're not happy. He's spinning you in circles, like back
Yes.
over there with his wife. I don't because the divorce is not final, correct?
I think it just finalized.
But you still fucking her.
Right.
So what are we doing here? Like, and this you got this lady calling me talking about I'm sorry for fucking him last week, and then got you on in the background talking about y'all sexcapades.
Yeah. I
Baby,
I
either I'm on my
mean,
way or I'm gonna have to leave this situation. Then she is tired. See, I think Puppy is gonna leave because she didn't even say nothing.
yeah.
See, when a woman mad, you might just be like, okay, she mad right now. Let me let her cool off. But when she said, I'm not even gonna say nothing because he's not gonna be honest, I was like, oh, she fed up.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so really want to back it up only to acknowledge that we saw Queen this week,
I
still
love
staying her.
her.
Right,
The
she's great
only person who's
in their
like,
lives. Yeah.
yeah, who keeps it real. She
Mhm.
just keeps it all the way 100 with them, and I like it.
Yes. And they seem to want to be honest around her. Like they can tell her about the things that they've done and speak about it with more clarity, it seems, because we see her and Amber tells her about the blow up she had with TC, terms and conditions, and saying too much about Puppy's past. And then that's when Puppy calls and tells us about how much things have spiraled with Eric. And my thing is, like, in addition to everything that you laid out around what they got going on, I think for me it's just starting to reveal itself that Puppy tried to make it seem like she just had this, I have this boyfriend Eric, and we all just assume that they maybe met at the bar and exchanged info and everything was above the board, when I think what we're really starting to see is, Puppy, you were carrying on an affair with this man. He was married and he was maybe even still living with his wife, or maybe they were separated, but they were not so far gone in their relationship that they were on the verge of divorce like he may have tried to tell you. So you were a part of an affair, and now all of that has blown up in your face. He's still stringing you along. Like you said, got the wife calling, telling you that she's still fucking on him. And now you're realizing that this shit is not going to work. And it's unfortunate because it did seem like, oh no, like Puppy's just in a relationship that's not going so great. But yeah, now we're seeing like you were really like a straight up side chick. Like this was an affair, and the wife has you on the line because she wanted you to feel hurt the same way she probably felt hurt when she heard about him being with you. Especially this girl that got him on TV. Okay, this ain't no quiet side chick. So, we hear that he didn't come home the night before, and that's how the wife got her on the line on a three-way, hearing them talk to each other. It's just kind of a mess. So Puppy, when Eric does finally come home, she's just like, I want to go see my mom. And he takes her because he's like hovering, and not allowing her to move about on her own. But she also doesn't have her own means. She doesn't have her own car. And he's probably also worried that she's gonna run off because he knows that he's treating her like shit. He has to.
He knows it.
So now
He
they
knows it, but I
right.
don't like it because but Puppy, you allow it. So, like, I kind of get it too. Like, I had to, kind of explain to CJ, like, she's on parole and she does
Yeah.
not have like I mean, her probably getting a job is probably, we see she wasn't good at that last time. So she needs some help, probably needs somebody to take care of her. But that comes along with, just like Justine and Michael, that comes along with you having to abide by their rules, play their game, you know, and it's like she said it out her mouth. He leaves her broke, like, what did she say? Without money and without a car. What,
Yep.
girl? No, we not doing that at all. What?
Right. Especially in a situation where when he leaves you like that, he's out there messing with his ex-wife, you know, other women, maybe, who knows? Like,
but he out here driving a Hellcat, a $90,000 car. Good night.
Girl.
No, not gonna happen with me. No, no, no.
you better believe that shit. He got that shit from like JD by Ryder. It's not
And that's fine. But I'm not gonna be in this house carless while you out gallivanting with your ex-wife, sleeping with your ex-wife either. So
yeah, because there's the problem is too, right? He comes home and there's no money to show for anything. So you're not going out working hard, coming back home.
And girl, that's another thing.
Yeah.
What you're not gonna do is be gallivanting in these streets all day and come back and talking about we $50,000 in debt.
Right.
Sir. And then, puppy, what you're not gonna do is volunteer to fix that shit.
Right. Because how did you even get there?
Our beloved sister on Friday told us, ask that bitch for some money, okay? What's wrong with these people? Hey, puppy, get your parole switch back to your mother's house. Your mother was just sick with kidney problems. You could be over there helping her, being her caretaker. Girl, fix it.
Right. So speaking of her mom, he takes her to her mom's house. Her mom actually looked pretty good to me.
She did.
Yeah. So that was nice to see. And so her mom asked, you know, what's next for them now that the divorce is final? And Puppy says they're still just trying to get over it. And she asks how they're doing, and Eric just lies and says that they're doing great. And so he excuses himself to use the bathroom. And then, of course, her mom whips out a cigarette real smooth and is like, all right, now tell me what's really going on. And, you know, Puppy tells her mom the truth. And then when Eric comes back out, like, he stands by the door and is like, okay, we got to go. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, ugh, I do not like him, dude. I do not.
Like, girl, like, you went in to use the bathroom and now you come out talking about let's go.
Right.
I would have been like, I'm good. I'll get home.
Right.
My mama will take me.
In this day and age.
Uber, something.
Right. Like, I just didn't like that because, again, it just seemed like he was trying to, you know, exert more power over her, right? Control her, not allow her to comfortably spend time with her mother because, again, he's worried that she's never going to come back. And that's what you get for trying to entertain a woman while being married to another woman and then not treating either one of them right. So you deserve to be alone if both of them leave you high and dry. But you can't force Puppy to stay with you, you know, just by being her ride and acting like if she doesn't leave with you, then what, she's disrespecting you? No, like, you're trying to control her movements and her whereabouts. So Amber said it, and I would agree. Like, she needs to get away from him, get out of his house, start over, figure out what she's going to do next, because it's not looking good and he does not mean well for you or by you.
Agreed. Sick of him.
Right. Ugh.
Oh, but he don't make my he don't do it to me like this Taylor and Chance.
Right. No one.
You don't do it to me like Chance, baby. Right. I can't stand that damn Chance.
You don't make my skin crawl the way that Chance does, Eric. So, golly,
make my skin crawl. I want to say something else, but yeah, make my skin crawl. We'll go with that.
Mm-hmm. So, Taylor and Chance. My God, today.
Okay, now I gotta have it. Y'all trying. Hell no for all these couples.
Chance comes home, tells Taylor about his son Ethan calling and coming to visit, and that he bought a plane ticket. He said he got lost in the conversation and, you know, just things kind of ran away from him, I suppose. And so Taylor is like, you didn't think to tell me? And he was like, well, you know, I don't need to ask you. And she's like, oh, but you do. Like, you know, you can talk to me about these things. He's all of a sudden
artist fashion.
Right.
I see this is the manipulative girl.
Right. Because
this is the manipulative behavior.
Yes.
That he comes with. I don't like it.
Right. He says, well, you know, I don't really have to run things by you as long as we're not married, you know. And she's like, we're not getting married if I can't ask you about what the hell it is that you got going on. So,
baby, all you would have heard was mink, boom, 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 boom.
Right? Bop, bop.
Bop, 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 bop. Got my Santana on, baby.
Man. Because it's like, dude, what do you think this is? Like, you know, he says, well, I'm just so used to making my own decisions and doing my own thing and all that crap. But it's like, what did you think you were signing up for by getting out of prison, starting a relationship with somebody,
with 3 kids?
With 3 kids, right? Making another baby. You don't get to make your own decisions and not take all of these other people into consideration. That's not how this is going to work.
Agreed. So, but I think Taylor knows it. I know she does. That's why she really doesn't want to marry him. And she's not wrong. I don't blame her.
Yeah. Right? It's
like he's always trying to justify his wrong every single episode. And it pisses me off. And Taylor is just like, just sitting back watching. And I just think, I don't see them being together long. I think Taylor's going to get fed up and leave.
Well, I hope that she does, because that has been her one saving grace. Like, she refuses to get married to him with him doing all this bullshit. So I'm glad that she's holding out in that way. But so Chance, now that Taylor knows that Ethan is going to visit, Chance, you know, he's got the ticket. Ethan's on his way. But we also learned that Chance didn't tell Ethan about the baby because he doesn't want to run Ethan off. Now, I feel like that's a fair thing to think. Like, you don't want to overwhelm him.
Both sides of that.
But at the same time, like, why would you not prepare him for the situation that he's going to walk into?
Because, you know why? Because Chance does not care about nobody but himself. Period.
Right. Yep.
And that's just what it is. He doesn't care about, you know, his son. I'm going to say it. He does not care about him. No. He doesn't care about Taylor, her girls at all. Like, he don't care about nobody but himself.
Not in a way where it's truly unconditional and he wants the best for everyone and he can see how things will affect them. That's really the short-sightedness, right? Like, you don't think about how your actions really impact other people at all. So Ethan comes to the house and Chance sees him for the first time since he was 2 years old. And, you know, Ethan's got like a soft goth look going on a little bit.
Girl,
he's 21. Right? He had long hair, beard, but he did have on like a slight little eyeliner situation.
Yes, I saw that liner, honey. I was like, okay.
Yes. So he seems really nice though. Ethan meets Taylor and the girls and definitely can see that the environment is just a little bit chaotic. The girls are all over Chance.
That. He was like, you got a lot going on here. That's what he said.
Chance starts to give him a tour, and this is when he learns that Taylor is pregnant and about to have a baby. And it's just like,
the way he found out was fucked up.
Yes, as they approach a crib. And it's like, again, how did you not think that might make him feel a way? But again, when you haven't seen someone since they were 2, you don't really know how to
know them. Yeah. How to handle them.
Yeah. Right. So they sit down on the couch and they're talking, and Chance is like, oh, like, what would you like to do? And he suggests going to the strip club. And it's just like, why is that your first suggestion for your son that you have not really seen in life?
Who does not look like he's even into that.
At all. And by the way, what money are you going to the strip club with?
And why would you say that in front? Like, I don't like the way he talks. He said that in front of Taylor and those girls.
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
Yeah. Like, okay, where's your mind? So they wind up going down to a bar, you know, and having a drink or something. And Ethan talks to him about not having a father figure growing up. And this is yet another moment on Love, Life After Lockup, where you see someone's child pouring their heart out to them about them not being around. And it was, on one hand, it was like, wow, like Ethan's really mature and he seems like he's turned out, you know, pretty decent despite not having a father around. But at the same time, it's just so heartbreaking to hear, because this person wants you in their life now on television, but this is the conversation you have to have with them, and this is, you know, probably your best bet at having any sort of relationship with them. And it's just like, that's so tough. Like,
and he said that he's not good with money.
Yes.
I don't think he's as bad as his dad, but he did express how he like doesn't manage money well, how he lives in the house with 5 other roommates. I'm like, and they're in California. That's where his son came from, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I understand rent is high, okay, out there.
For sure.
But yeah, it's some things there. It's some things.
Right? That was definitely kind of one thing I was like, shit, like poor money management clearly is hereditary, you know, and for them. And it's unfortunate because, again, he seems like, at least the image he was giving off to us was that he means well, you know, and that he's a young person just trying to make it. And it's sad to know that, you know, you have inherited your dad's poor money management skills. But I guess the hope is that you would never, you know, put yourself in a situation where you need to break the law to get money.
True.
And that you're not on any substances that would drive you to want to get more money, because that's kind of where Chance went next. And talking to him, again, you said it perfectly. He's always trying to justify his bad behavior, poor decisions, whatever it looks like, because he tells Ethan that, you know, he has a lot of regrets around the things that he did, but he was just trying to take care of him / his mother.
No, he was not.
And he got injured.
You were trying to get high.
Right, but did you catch him say he got injured and got addicted to
At
pills?
work.
I was like, I don't know.
Girl,
if I believe it.
No, you wanted to run them streets. That's what it was, because you were only 18 or something like that. I think when he had his baby.
I mean,
he was young. Maybe he just looked like a kid, but he was just, to me, lying in Ethan's face about why he wasn't there. And on top of making excuses, there was never a sincere, heartfelt apology. Because let's be clear, when he hugged Ethan, when Ethan came to the house, I would have never thought that that's his son that he has not seen in 18 years. I would have never thought that. It just looked like it was nothing. You just hugged him like, what's up, my boy? Like,
yeah. I was
and then
like,
you sitting there talking about that embrace. I just felt, I said, no, there wasn't an embrace like that. Stop lying.
Yeah, he puts on for the cameras.
Ooh, baby. I hate it.
He cries on demand, child. So yeah, I wasn't feeling it completely. And you know what? I feel like Ethan wasn't really going either. You know, again, a reason that I love the children of the people on Love and Life After Lockup, because you can always tell, like, they know these people are full of shit. But we also see, I don't know if it was the next day or whatever, Chance takes the family out to a nice dinner. And we further, you know, again, Chance just be lying. He don't want to let nobody know that he doesn't know stuff, because the son, Ethan, asks him, which one is the salad fork? And Chance is like, oh, I think it's the big one. And it's like, dude, again, I know that some things everybody doesn't know, but Chance, you gave yourself away. You have not been to etiquette class. Whatever the little smaller fork is, that's your salad fork. But I'll get off of the bougie high horse. But again, it's the small stuff like that. Taylor says that he lies about all these little things. Because Ethan also asked about the baby's name and the origin. And Chance is saying that the name comes from like great grandfathers and the ancestors, and they want to keep the name Mason Carter alive in the family. I'm like, Mason Carter. If that's not the most 2020 baby book name.
Right.
Because
exactly.
Taylor has to let us know they got the names from baby blankets and they like the way that they sounded together. And he just be out here lying for fun.
For no reason. Like stuff you don't even have to lie about. Probably another reason she does not want to marry him.
Yeah.
She would be a fool to marry him. Like, you already you already about to have this baby by him, but to marry him, like, no.
There's there's nothing, I guess I should say, all of the things that he would have to improve and switch up and do differently.
It's not in him.
Yeah.
It's not in him. He can't help himself. He'll never change. He'll always be that's who he is.
Yeah. Like, if he's not lying about something, then he's spending too much money. If he's not spending too much money, he's trying to control you and tell you what you can't do or what he's not going to do for you. That's too much to try to expect somebody to change in order to go down the road of like marriage and being connected for a lifetime. Like, Taylor,
he
please.
was like, I was in a dead zone. And then when I'm using the GPS, my phone goes on do not disturb. Like,
again,
ooh.
I mean, you said it. He will lie and excuse everything he does, everything he says, to make it seem like everything he has going on is the right way, or it should be okay, and Taylor shouldn't question it. And if that's what it's got to be, girl, that's too much. But I think the last thing I have is that Chance asks Ethan what his mom said or thought about the visit, and Ethan's like, I didn't tell her, and then Taylor is like, now what the hell are you worried about his mama for?
Because he asked something else about the mother too, like, well, how does your mom, something about that mom.
Yes.
And you're not gonna keep to sit in front of me and keep asking about your ex, like, on no level. Another time I would have meet this ass across that table.
Right, especially again, y'all don't have a very clean cut path, if you will, where everyone was an adult, everybody's in the know about who's who and what's going on. If you want to ask about his mother, Amanda, but I've met her or I know her and she knows what we got going on, that's one thing. I feel like under different circumstances, it might not be such a trigger for Taylor. But seeing how she's just now meeting Ethan didn't know what was going on, didn't know she was pregnant, and she don't know nothing about Ethan's mom. No, I don't think that it's okay, Chance, for you to be sitting there carrying on like, well, what does she think of me now? And what she say about you coming up here and what she got going on? Like, wait a minute. So.
Girl, good night. Sick of him. I'm sick of him.
Girl, I'm sick of everybody that we just talked about.
Well, let's put y'all on the Monique and Derek then.
Yes. Alrighty. Monique and Derek, where do we
and Elizabeth
and Aubriana and Sylvia and Calandra.
Girl, why Elizabeth called her chlamydia?
Oh my gosh. If they did get a little spinoff, a little vignette, maybe a little YouTube, action 10-minute program, I can't guarantee I wouldn't tune in.
Maybe for like an episode or two. I would check it out to see, but I could only take so much.
Yeah, 10 minutes, right? Not too much. But anywho, okay. So this is what we've all been waiting for. Monique and Derek are both driving their sisters to the park in Cleveland that has become infamous now for all of their little meetups, it seems. This is where Monique ran ran Elizabeth down with her car at one point.
It is.
So, they're going to supposedly have a conversation now that Monique is in town with her sisters and try and clear the air before this birthday party for Derek at his sister's house. So as they're headed to the park, again, I'm going off of what I saw on this episode. There's so much swirling with this couple right now on the internet, and so much has been given away and supposedly further explained, but Love After Lockup / Life After Lockup is giving us a show, so I'm going off of what I saw. Derek, right? Derek tells his sisters in the car on the way to the park about Monique being in town with both of her sisters this time. He says, Calandra's here and you're going to meet Sylvia. And they're like, so it's 3 of them? And it's like, yes. So, they have reservations, because of this, because they're like, why are they here? Why do they care so much? But then you actually hear Aubriana say, well, I guess it's the same thing. Like, we care about our brother, so I guess they care about their sister.
That's the same thing I said. She was like, probably the same reason we care so much. Yeah, for this check. Let's be clear. That's why y'all on this show acting like this.
Right.
I don't think it's because you care about your brother. It's not it, but okay.
Okay, that's also fair too. Points being made.
Yeah. Girl.
And they talk more about how, from their point of view, Monique's sister Calandra really kicked things off in person when she quote unquote came over to check their temperature. And they start to talk more pretty much about being agitated, and they still carry that animosity. And Derek starts to get nervous and pulls over and says he doesn't want to go because in his mind, he just wants to avoid any trouble so that he doesn't have to worry about going back to prison. He keeps claiming, I just don't want it to be no drama. And I'm just like, dude.
But you're bringing the drama to be drama.
Yeah. Right? Like,
you're literally driving them in the car to go be messy. They're being messy in the car now.
Right.
So she bought him she bought her sister to fight us. That's how they talk.
Yes.
Like, that's how Brianna talk. You bought your sister to fight us. Like, girl, she's so remedial. Oh, she gets on my nerves.
So let's back it up right there. And so, okay, right, because even though he told them in the car about the sisters, Elizabeth, if no one else, is absolutely dressed to fight. She has on a ski mask type joint. It's another name for it I've seen floating around. I can't recall it now.
The Pooh Shiesty mask.
A very much so a Pooh Shiesty mask. She has on a long pink fur coat with a hood on it and a strappy, ribbed mini dress that is borderline, pajama type slip, just imagine.
Let's give it scam. Yeah.
Yes. Imagine, if you will. So in some elements, maybe you wouldn't think she was coming to fight, but when you're covering your hair and your face, and now they do tell Derek they're not going to fight because they just paid $300 to get their nails done. So they're not looking for that. And I will say this. They also were actively hitting a blunt in the car on this ride. So,
on the way, like, why would y'all not save that for after the fight? You can't smoke and go fight.
That made me think, like, well, were they really looking to fight? Because I would not smoke a blunt with my fresh nails and say I'm deliberately going to fight somebody.
Then why don't she leave her wig at home?
I mean, touche.
I don't know.
So they say that Monique catfished Derek, and they thought that, she was they said slimmer or something. And I'm just like, no, you didn't. But I guess they thought she looked different than she actually did. Elizabeth said they should have been on Punk'd. I thought that was kind of funny. And then we shoot back to Monique and her sisters. And from their side, they say that Derek's sisters are messy and they didn't like her from the start. And they should be happy that
Agreed.
Derek has
Definitely messy.
right. They definitely were messy from the start. I agree with that. But they also, Monique says that they should be happy that he has someone like her in his life. And
She said they should be thankful.
yeah. And I'm like, for
Mhm.
what? Because
Girl,
you
don't not too much.
not too much, right? Again, I really it grinds my gears that Monique's quote unquote, down like issue, or the issue that they have with her, is her weight. Because even
That's it.
if it was right, if she was small, she could still have every other characteristic she has and she would still get on my nerves. Like,
Agreed.
it's so, I feel like everybody is just saying, oh no, Monique's cool, and they just don't like her because of her weight. It is true. They don't like her because of her weight. That is not nice. That is not cool. But that does not mean that Monique is cool otherwise. Like, she's let us know there are a lot of things about her that suck. And I hate that, one of her quote unquote issues is her weight, because it feels like people pacify and excuse some things with her because somebody else is calling her fat. Like, I'm just like, I get it. But then we see Monique, you talking about cameras, you talking about, not wanting Derek to talk to people, talk to his family. You carry on about the siblings quite a bit yourself. Like, just because how they come at you is not great, it doesn't mean that he should be thankful to have you, in his life. Like, you kind of still suck. So anyways,
Agreed.
sorry.
Agreed.
It's so annoying. Okay. But anyway, they get to the park and they meet. And so this is where I feel like we know it's staged. It's all set up, because it's like Derek goes over to the car and talks to Monique like, okay, are you ready? Like,
Girl.
it's like you can
While
tell.
he was getting tossed the fuck around the whole time. Wow.
Oh my gosh. So everybody gets out of the car and they start kind of running back their reasons for why there's beef. And, we flash back to release day and Calandra coming over and checking the temperature. And Elizabeth, embellishes there and says that, she came over saying, oh, I'm trying to check y'all hoes temperature. And it's like, okay, she didn't say anything.
That's not what she said.
Right.
Cameras ran it bike. They got receipts.
Yes. But Elizabeth does continue on and says, okay, well, which one of y'all hoes, outright, was in my DMs? And then Sylvia pipes up. They kept talking about also that basically a lot of the beef started before Derek was released, and that Monique was trying to, put Derek in check before he got out. And again, that's where I truly take issue with Derek not being honest with everybody up front, because he knew that he had made it seem like it was okay for his family to come pick him up. Monique didn't want them there. And instead of telling them in a way where plans were made and everybody could get on the same page, he, like they said, he told them at the 9th hour, please don't come. And they said, okay, we won't come. And then they came anyway. But you made Monique think that your family just was never there for you. And we even have seen that, now that we've gone through some episodes. You embellished, Derek, and you made it seem like your family was never there for you and they just left you to die. But somehow you still have connected with all of them in the few weeks that you've been out. And they've told us how they tried to be there for you. And we see that they are young. So they were young over the past 10 years and probably, couldn't show up for you in every way that they may have even wanted to. So you caused a lot of bullshit up front. But again, that's where it's like, Monique, you probably should have never been that hell bent on being the only person to meet him. You let your insecurities get the best of you in that case. And then Elizabeth and Aubriana, y'all didn't have to come on the rah-rah either. But we see, up until this point, y'all are here for the cameras and the FaceTime and the checks. So you knew you were, in hindsight, we knew y'all were going to show up regardless. Hindsight is 2020.
Period. Let's not do this.
right? Like when we
play
talk
this game.
Yeah, when we assessing like why y'all are all in this situation, several of y'all have a part to play. So then Sylvia starts getting louder, trying to figure out what really is the issue, and she kind of starts to become the biggest instigator, or in the group. She's doing the most talking. And Derek's trying to stand in between them. Like you said, he ain't doing nothing. Like, dude, at any given
getting
moment.
his ass tossed up. That's it. He was getting waved like a rag down. He should have stayed the fuck out the way. Him and Monique wasn't doing nothing.
Nothing.
That useless to the fight.
Oh my gosh. So Sylvia just keeps going, says now she's checking the pressure, right? And Elizabeth is getting increasingly upset. And so at one point, Elizabeth and Aubriana walk back to the car. And all the while, Sylvia is saying, oh, but you won't swing. You won't swing. So Elizabeth tells Derek, go get in the car with your fat bitches. And, they get in the car. And Monique tries to tell them, her sisters, to go back to get back into the car as well. But, Elizabeth starts like losing it, talking about we don't like fat bitches. And it's just like, girl, lazy read. Like, come on. There wasn't anything else that you could say. I'm sure there's something else you could say.
That's all they ever say.
There was a couple things I would have said.
Come on, y'all.
Right?
Period.
Like, let's step it up. So the lazy reads continue. And then Monique's sisters basically in that moment say, see, Derek, this is what we're saying. Your sisters are disrespectful, but they won't swing. And then Elizabeth says that she will swing. And then Sylvia's like, well, do it then. So she's like, okay. And so she gets back out of the car and rushes Calandria and Sylvia. And Sylvia is the first to fall to the ground.
Girl. So.
And my thing at that point is she taunted Elizabeth so much, like, you won't swing. It's like, so you're basically saying I'm looking for a fight at this point. I want you
absolutely
to fight me.
Well, or because some people not for all that talking. I'm not. I know I'm not. Girl, what you gonna do? I would have been steady saying, "Let's swing, let's swing." But it's like, man, what are we here? What are we about? What's going on? If not, I'm gonna get in the car and finish my blunt. Okay.
Well, and that was my thing too. If you're looking for a fight, I would think you'd be ready for it. Like, she fell so quick. I'm like, so you were doing all that talking. I thought you would have, had some hands on you.
Been prepared.
Right? And then what's her name? Aubriana kind of comes over and handles her.
Gets her ass beat up.
And then Elizabeth.
Wig looking through.
Man, quick. And then Elizabeth is on Calandria and Monique is kind of behind her. Just throwing these slow punches.
Girl.
Like, again.
This is your fight, Monique. Like, you need to be in the trenches. All of this shit is because of you.
Girl.
So
I think that's what pissed me off so much about the way that she was acting like she was a part of the fight, but she really wasn't, because of course she lets us know everything happened so fast. I'm like, girl, you didn't do anything.
You didn't help.
Right.
Yeah. And it was 3 of y'all and just 2 of them. Ma'am.
And they had gone all the way back to their cars. Like, y'all should have mounted up like the Power Rangers and been ready for when they got back out the car, but you still weren't. Because you was doing all that talking, even though you made it seem like they were doing all the talking. It just was like, in the end, I was like, Monique, you didn't do anything. And you had your sisters all the way out here in Cleveland fighting in the fucking park with your ex-con boyfriend's sisters. Like, I would never do anything for you in life again.
Ever. So who you think won the fight, friend?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna have to say that Elizabeth and Aubriana, they held their own, I guess. I won't say that anybody did what needed to be done, but when I look at it and it's like, Sylvia, okay, you got knocked down too quick to have been doing all that talking. Calandra, I suppose you held your own. Monique, you didn't do shit. Aubriana wasn't afraid, because if I was her, I probably would have just stayed in the car.
I would have been terrified. The smallest thing, but I don't know. She probably was scared, but that's how little people are. We gonna be scared, but you ain't gonna know we scared. We still gonna fight. We gonna get out. But, oh, bitch, I'm scared. I really hope we don't gotta fight. But if we do, it's okay.
So I don't know. It's not like they won by a landslide, but I just figured, yeah, all participants, were they were a part of the fight at least, and
all participants participate.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
We'll
say it like that.
Because Monique, she really didn't do anything. Especially, girl, the internet was ablaze, and so I have seen this shit backwards and forwards.
Forwards from the middle.
Yes,
girl.
Slow motion. So when you watch the slow-mo and see how she was really like not doing shit, it's like, come on. You are the only reason they are out here doing this shit right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Especially then for them. Okay, so at the end, right, Elizabeth falls, and it's more so as production gets involved and they step in, she gets pushed back, knocked down. Like, and then in an attempt to separate everybody. But of course, Monique and her sisters look at that as like a victory. Like, oh, now she's down on the ground. And then they get in the car and Elizabeth kicks the car while she's still down.
First of all, baby, let me tell you how I would have been Elizabeth. Because, baby, my old ass, I can't be out here fighting, okay? I'm going to be tired too.
Yep.
I'd have been Elizabeth on that ground. Like, you know what? Let me just pick the rental. That's all I got. And we smoked on the way in. Oh, no, baby. I'm not. And I got to ask my bitch. No. I've been on that ground with her.
Winded over it. Okay.
Girl, over it. Man, like, why y'all got me out here? Let's go eat. I'm tired.
Okay. And then we see Monique in her confessional say that, I think that my sisters and I, were very appropriate in our actions, and Derek's sisters didn't come with pure intentions. But again, this is the day after Monique was mad at Derek for his cheating. You were mad too. Like, you didn't have the purest of intentions. You probably had a lot of frustration, that you wanted to take out. You had your sisters there to back you up and egg you on. So I don't think that you had the purest of intentions either. And again, from what we saw that WeTV showed us, they didn't know that y'all had an extra person with you until they were on the way to come see you. So, if everybody had just hopped out, they could have potentially been like, who is this? And like, oh, this is another sister? That don't sound like pure intentions to me. So, I don't know. Again, right, I was going to roll my eyes at whatever Monique said in her confessional after that, because I think in her mind, because she had some folks that supported her and, just basically were there for her, she was going to ride with them, which I get it. Those are your sisters. But like I said, I don't like that this is the type of bullshit you got your sisters into for you, to look out for you and protect you and be on your side. Like, all of this for Derek. For Derek, this is, again, all your fault. Back to day one, when you were telling Monique that your family wasn't there for you, as if there weren't young people as well, and they were trying to get their lives together and they were going through it. And you told them at the 9th hour that Monique didn't want you to come. So, you're a big part of the problem. You're a big part of why things were off to a rocky start from jump. And you won't, tell Monique to stay her ass at home. Because no matter how much you say she's smothering me, she's an attention whore, right? He has his issues with her, but you won't leave her. Why not? So.
True. I agree. I don't know I think this is an opportunity for him. He loves the limelight.
Yeah.
So I do think that he likes her for real. I will say that. I don't know, but it's like a little part of me thinks he's doing this for a check.
I think I agree that he likes her, but I feel like, I can't help but stick by my thoughts that I've shared for a few weeks now. I think he likes her perhaps as a part of a stable. He likes her as his big mama, as his BBW.
Oh, yeah.
That's a part of his stable, because he also wants a little chick, a dark chick, a light chick, a white chick.
Yeah, a CO chick. Yeah.
He wants
Girl,
multiple women.
Clearly, he slept with about 10 of them. Shit,
Right.
which probably mean 15. Like, girl, Derek, you and Ariana, get y'all ass out of here. Now, I know it was a thing about, I'm not going to sit here and act like, I don't like that Elizabeth was out there fighting, period. At the end of the day, that is still a man. You get what I'm saying? Like, why are you out here putting your hands fighting women with? I didn't like that.
So I saw a lot of people talk about that too. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to contest the fact that Elizabeth was biologically born a male.
That's
But,
strange.
I will say one thing that Just Call Me Wah said. Shout out to Just Call Me Wah on YouTube. She talks about, she's like, but who knows how long she's been on those hormones? And I'm like, a point
That's true.
being made.
Yeah, I like it.
Right?
Never thought about that.
A point being made. But, I think my thing more than anything was that there was so much instigation coming from that Sylvia. And it's like, even when Monique was going towards the car and, I think Elizabeth was calling them all like, y'all, a bunch of bitches or something like that. And they're like, you want to be a bitch. You wish you were a bitch. So it's like, okay, so everybody is clear that Elizabeth is trans. So why all of the egging on?
Yeah, like y'all want to fight. Yeah.
If you want to fight, don't taunt somebody. And then when they do actually fight, be like, oh my gosh, then, because, Monique is really terrible about misgendering Elizabeth on her IG lives and when she thinks folks aren't looking. So again, don't set it up that way then.
I don't know. I think they all ghetto in their own way. Like,
that part too.
That whole segment is ghetto and messy, and like, yes. Monique and her sisters can call their sisters ghetto and messy, but they can say the same thing about them because they're, especially Monique,
yes,
Monique.
Yeah.
You was on Facebook on an inmate page, bitch. You ghetto and messy, trying to find you a man. So I know what your life consists of. Okay, so you trying to sit here and judge people? Leave that to us, because y'all on TV looking a fool.
Right. Very well said. Right. Again, so many things that we can backtrack and really zoom out and start to think about, like, Monique, why were you doing that? And then because they've been on their, publicity tour, right? So they did Carlos King, like we talked about last week. They also did Angela Yee. So now we're learning more about their origin. And it seems like, Derek was just a friend and they just, basically had conversations via this pen pal site. But to your exact point, why were you on there? Most of us don't have time. Most of us are not doing that shit. But somehow you found a reason to be on that site talking to niggas who are locked up. Why? And then got
what you want to judge them.
Yeah, right. And then got so serious with one that you wanted to meet him, be with him. They talk about how she found out about Elizabeth being trans because Derek told her that a brother was sending some money and that she needed to basically, I don't know, help him get. She could probably post it to his JPay. Who knows? But then the account that actually sent the money was Elizabeth, dolled up. And so she's like, who is this woman? So I think we're learning more that y'all had a clue, about who folks were before he got out. Maybe y'all didn't have the latest and greatest photos of Monique, so you didn't know what to expect. But, I'm really starting to lose a sense that this is not staged and this is not a way for all of y'all to make sure that you get paid. And then to your point, y'all are ghetto enough to keep it going in real time because you don't know how to shut it off. You know, and people talking about how can Monique afford all of this and afford to be giving Derek all this stuff. The streets have picked up on the idea that Monique probably had a couple of PPP loans, which might make sense. You know, if y'all been talking for a couple of years now, that puts us back in COVID times where it was easier to access that. So, you know, who knows? But ultimately, like, y'all are all putting on for the cameras now. You know, you got Monique talking about, oh yeah, Derek's gonna have to figure it out and he can ride with his sisters because he can't come with me. You're keeping up a lot of shit, but in real time, y'all are still together. And maybe he likes you, but he's still cheating on you because he admitted to 10 women on the show, and then he told Carlos King he cheated on her like back in January. Like that was the last time he cheated on her. It was
2 months ago, bro.
Yeah, 2023.
Like so, you just said, see,
in her face, yeah. So it's annoying, right? Because I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what to believe. And I don't know if it's all an act at this point. But if it's not, and, you know, I just could take everything at face value. Yeah, I'm not really here for Monique's behavior, for how she keeps carrying on. I'm mad at Derek for, you know, being weak sauce and and not handling anything. He doesn't know how to keep the peace at all. He doesn't know how to tell his sisters to respect his girl. He doesn't know how to tell his girl to respect his sisters. He plays like he don't want drama, but he keeps doing things that cause drama. He keeps cheating on Monique. Like, dude.
Girl, that's her fault. She don't want to leave.
She won't leave. And every time we see them, she wants to bring up his sisters and how they're not treating her right. And it's starting to make me wonder, like, do you really like this nigga? Or did you just, you know, do you want to feel validated by his sisters? Because they're always a part of the conversation. So, yeah, of course, you know, we left off with everybody kind of leaving the fight scene and that was it from them. But, oh God.
So you just go to the party after that?
Right.
Like, what comes after that?
Yeah, I don't know. All right. I can't imagine we get too much more of them this season because I know y'all didn't just go to a party. Like, I know that this has to be it. But it's so stupid because it's like, again, what, y'all came there for 2 days for you to go to dinner with Derek and attempt to meet his sisters, wind up fighting them, and now you're headed back home? Again, if I was one of her sisters, I would never do anything for her again. I'm sorry.
Ever. Don't call me. I don't even want to hear. Don't say his name around me.
Right. So that was that for this week. Saw a little preview for next week. So Michael and Justine apparently have some moment where Michael gets some bad news. Who knows? It's probably that he can't move as quickly as he wants to, or I don't know. Maybe he is getting on child support for one of them kids that he's not taking into consideration.
No. Oh, you want to come home and get married? Oh, okay.
Right.
You know how that go.
Lindsay and Blaine. We see Blaine talking to who looks to be his father, saying that he's gonna tell Lindsay the truth again. I'm so over this idea of y'all's storyline being Blaine having charges and not being honest with Lindsay. Like, this is a weak ass storyline. We see Taylor. She's in Chance's phone looking at what seems to be a bunch of messages about going to like porn sites, and then she's burning his stuff up on the lawn.
Girl,
looking forward to that.
So you out here paying for that? That's probably what he's spending the money on.
Yeah, right.
I don't think she'd care if he was just looking at porn.
Right. But and that's the thing.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
To not touch me tonight.
Right. And that's the thing. Chance, being such an idiot, you know, who thinks he knows how to do everything, he's paying for shit that he could probably get for free if he actually knew how to search the internet better. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Because she said that he was spending money on the games. Like,
right. So yeah, the coin master, when I went back and looked again. I couldn't remember that shit when we were recording, but yeah, who knows? I mean, can you buy porn with Coin Master? I don't know. See, once again, I'm showing I still don't know what it means, but yeah.
Exactly. He crazy.
Yeah, the money is going out faster than it's coming in, and that's part of the reason. Monique is done. Just another scene of her clicking a hotel key. Just girl over it. And then we see Puppy kind of having it out with Eric, and I think it looks like production is involved again, child, but she gets in his Hellcat and drives away.
Oh, not in his car.
Yes. So that's next week. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to Kiki and Kibitz, who included us in the recap of the episode. One of the tweets that I tweeted that during the episode, Monique, of course, was like, "Oh, I'm done with Derek," but in real time, posted the picture of her on Angela Yee and of course with Carlos King. So it's like, girl, you're still with this man. So
right.
So yeah, they put it in the little quick digest that Barry puts together after the episode. So thanks for including jack of all trades in that, Mary. I'm a Kiki and Kibitz fan. So yeah.
I see it. I see it. Ah!
So yeah, so that's that for this week. Yeah, a lot going on, but I think the craziest of it has kind of come and gone. I think it'll be a little quieter through to the finale, but
girl, good night. It's Derek and Monique and Elizabeth and ain't shit gonna be quiet. Let's just stay freaking tuned, because at this point they might as well keep going. Like, these are the most talked about. Like, I think Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup is as well known as it is now, more than ever, because of Derek and Monique. Yeah, everybody knows it.
Yep, more than ever for sure. Like, this is the most popular they've been, despite having they had a few moments, with Michael and Sarah and Megan and Maria, and they had maybe a moment or two with Baby Nuck and the Mormon lady.
Not like Monique and Derek.
Yes.
Like, they're everywhere. Like, people who don't watch this show know about it because of them.
Girl, let's talk about it. So, I'm really mad that I wasn't posting more of our recaps to YouTube sooner, because no shade to you YouTube girls that clearly have more followers and, have been around longer, but there's definitely folks picking up Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup, only to talk about Derek and Monique. Don't even really know what's going on. Don't know much about the show. And I'm like, oh, damn. We could have been here a long time ago.
Because we've been gagging. Like, y'all, we used to talk every weekend about Love After Lockup like we do now. Anyway.
Yes.
Like, I would be out pooching around, doing my little errands. I was always at the car wash with Jackie called. And we would sit at that car. Baby, we would gag every weekend. Like, did you see Love After Lockup?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'll definitely
been recording.
Could have been recording. Could have been putting it on YouTube, but it's all good. But yeah, I think
we got to catch up.
Yeah, we're catching
we
up.
We on y'all ass.
Yeah. We at y'all next. And especially if Monique and Derek are gonna keep giving out content, like, we're gonna put all the pieces together for y'all and basically show you that we know exactly what's going on here. Like, you're gonna get the real deal over here. So I don't know. We'll see what else they have in store. There's a ton, like I said, going on in real time. You've got Monique and her sisters. I believe they went live after the episode on Friday, with more visceral reactions, I guess, reliving the moment. You had Elizabeth watching them recap and give her side of the story. There's there's a lot of drama that they are keeping up. And I think as long as they can keep it up without ruining kind of the integrity of what Love After Lockup wants to be, you know, not ruining like NDAs and stuff, they're gonna want them to do it.
Sure. Like somebody we know.
Girl.
I unfollowed him. I was like, I don't have no purpose in following him no more.
And then he started a
mean.
YouTube channel, and yeah, it's definitely like everything's received differently now that he doesn't have any affiliation with the show.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, you just come off like a weirdo now. It's so sad.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Ooh.
So that is it for this week. We'll be back next week with more. Hopefully, I'm telling you, I need a break. I hope they die down, but not too much, because they have been on a good run and I appreciate it. So good job, WeTV.
Right. I was about to say, don't do that.
I know.
Don't say that.
I know. But all right, you have a good one. Until next week,
right.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another Love After Lockup review. We appreciate y'all. And remember, I'm a jack of all trades, a master of none, not here to be an expert, just here to have fun. Bye, guys.